Welcome to the Business Spotlight, where we shine the light on incredible people that make our community thrive. Joining us today, we have Paul Hack. Paul is not an unknown person in this community. You've probably met him through his real estate endeavors. Today, we're going to speak about something else that may be a little-known fact that you haven't noticed yet about Paul. I noticed something on one of his Facebook posts that said he's a local owners investing locally. And that's what we're going to talk about. We're going to talk about how Paul has recently and his wife have invested into the Casper Spuds baseball team and how their focus is to help our community. So, Paul, thank you for joining us today.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Glad to be here. Appreciate you taking the time to talk to us.
Oh, my pleasure. Let's just start by the basics. Who is Paul Hack for those that haven't met you in real estate?
Obviously, been born and raised here in Casper, been here most of my life, had the pleasure of raising my family here. My wife and myself have 3 kids, ages 21 through 26, and the 2 older ones are out in the workforce here in Casper, and our youngest is still going to school and following that baseball dream. So, we just love the town, love being a part of it, giving back where we can, and excited to be a part of the Spuds, and love baseball. So
that's great.
Here we are.
So for your recent past, you've been primarily in real estate. Is that
Yep.
right?
Yeah, I've been doing real estate since 2016, 2017. Myself with my partner Brandon Dorn, and now we've grown our team to about 7 agents now, and really enjoying that and that part of it, and when the kids leave the house, we found ourselves with some free time, and we love baseball. So when this opportunity came around, we thought, hey, let's jump in, let's do something different. So
that's great. So when was the acquisition? When did you actually purchase the team?
Everything was official December of last year, of 2022, I guess, not last year. I apologize, but we had been in talks. I got a phone call in October letting me know that the other team was leaving town and going to cease operations or whatnot, and just wanted to know if I wanted to be involved. And at first we were a little hesitant. Matter of fact, Christy told me, no, you're crazy. But then after some other talks and really becoming comfortable with the folks we were going to be involved with, we decided to jump in and take after it. And for us, it's important to have something here in Casper. You always hear people say there's nothing to do, mm-hmm. and I just disagree. There's plenty to do here. You just got to go out and find it, but we wanted to be a part of that, and we love baseball, share our love of baseball, and we had hosted players in the past, so we kind of knew how this summer collegiate baseball thing worked, and having gone through it with our own son, we also realized that there isn't any baseball at this level in Wyoming. So for the young men who want to play baseball, they're traveling all over, coast to coast, and there's really no opportunity beyond Legion for them to play in front of their local friends and family. So that was important for us, mm-hmm. to us, and a big part of us getting in is to give a home for these Wyoming boys, not just Casper, but Wyoming in general, mm-hmm. boys to be able to come home and play in front of their friends and families and not have to be gone for the full year. So
right.
Yeah.
So you're absolutely right. You mentioned that some people say there's not a lot to do or there's nothing to do here in Casper, but I like you, I disagree completely. Yeah. You got to find it. You got to find the things to do, and a lot of times there's a lack of communication on what's being done.
Yep.
But there is more and more. There's more of a concerted effort to advertise, to communicate on the different activities we can get involved in. And Facebook
Yep.
does a great job of spotlighting some of those things we can do. But having something to do in the summer and another activity is excellent. Talk to me about the Spuds. Like, where does the name come from, and is it a local? Has it been local forever?
Yeah. So the team started in 2020, and then everybody knows COVID. They ended up not fielding a team that year, and started play in 2021 mm-hmm. in Caldwell, Idaho. At that time, there was a team here in Casper. They were the furthest team east, and then you had Caldwell setting out there. And with the team leaving the league here in Casper, it was a 14-hour bus ride, from the next closest team in Spearfish. So geographically, it made sense to move the team. And when we first talked about doing something here in Casper, we didn't know if we were going to move a team, if we were just going to start fresh, what that was going to look like. But with the team ceasing operations here, it left a hole. And so Jeff Dobbish, the founder of the Spuds, is the one who got a hold of us and just said, hey, what would you feel about partnering up and doing this thing and bringing the Spuds to Casper? And, in those first talks, we were like, well, the Spuds, I don't know. That's not a Casper name. That's not one of those traditional, Roughnecks, Drillers. We've had a ton of those names. The Ghosts, some of that stuff. And, so we just didn't really know. But, we operated under the Spuds name last year, and it growed upon us. Community has really embraced it, and the Spuds are here to stay. So Spudley's a great logo, a great ambassador, and we're very proud of the name and the history of the team.
So what are your long-term goals for the Spuds and for the team here?
Just to become a community asset, right? Mm-hmm. We want to be something that the whole community can be proud of, that, we're front of mind when people are thinking, hey, there's nothing to do. I want to be that spot that people are, hey, let's see if there's a Spuds game tonight, because, last time I went, it was a great time. And so, that's our goals locally, just to be a good partner with our sponsors, to be that community asset. And then inside of the league, we want to be that flagship team. We want to be the team that everybody else looks to and, says, hey, we want to operate like those guys are doing up there, like the way that team's operated. So
besides games, are there other things that the Spuds will be involved in or contributing to community life here in Casper?
Absolutely, yeah. We really try to look for any of those opportunities, right? The guys have very little free time when they're here. They'll get here mid-May. They'll be here until early August, and we play a lot of games in a short amount of time, but they do enjoy getting out in the community, and they understand that's part of being on the Spuds is, we do some volunteer stuff. We do some kids camps. We do any of those events we can get out and help. And then in the off season, we do a number of charity auction type stuff and volunteering and just try to do our part, right? We don't have a large budget, but where we can make an impact, we want to.
So who's behind all of this? You mentioned your wife. There's you. Are there other partners? Who's the mastermind in all of this?
The right answer is Christy. No, it's really a team.
She would agree, I think.
Yeah, absolutely. There's no argument from her, right?
Right.
No, it's a team collaboration. So, we'll get a call from Brad, and he'll have read something or has an idea and say, hey, have we explored this option? Maybe this is somewhere where we can give back, or, Jeff, and we talk through them and find the stuff where we can make the most impact and, just run at it.
All right. So the marketing posts, things like that, the person behind the communication, is that you or Christy?
So Jeff is the founder of the Spuds. He was the sole owner when they were in Idaho. Mm-hmm. And he kind of took it all on, right? So he, along with his team, he had a hired team and his wife, and they did all aspects of running the Spuds. Now, so he's a wealth of knowledge for us. So we lean on him quite a lot and ask him questions and like, hey, he's, sometimes I think he has a crystal ball. He can kind of predict the future at times. But so we lean on him quite a lot for that stuff. But currently he runs our social media, our Facebook stuff, our web page, our merchandise store online. Brad acts as an advisory role and really kind of keeps everything in line, checks and balances. And then Christy and myself are here doing the day-to-day operations, public engagement, and the stuff locally and keeping everything running. So
podcasts, for example.
Podcasts,
on the most
absolutely.
Renowned business spotlight in Casper. What have been the challenges that you faced as a baseball team owner now last year?
There's a ton. You don't know what you don't know, right? Weather was a huge challenge for us last year. I don't think we had a game. July 7th was our first game that wasn't affected by weather. Mm-hmm. So we had 5 rainouts in June, so you're trying to reschedule, do that stuff. transportation expenses, just getting the guys there, right? You know, their 9-hour bus rides and some of that stuff. You know, so those are the big ones. We're pretty blessed, but a lot of the teams struggle with finding field space and finding time. And, you know, we'd like to see the league grow inside of Wyoming and cut down on some of that travel and finding space for them to play. You know, a field that can hold a collegiate level team. And then secondly, you know, time, because, you know, they've got their Legion programs and their high school age programs trying to fit on a field. So, you know, a big thing for Christy and ourselves is make sure that we can show that, you know, it can work and it is a good partnership with that team that's already there and established. Right. We'd love to see a team in Cheyenne, Sheridan, Rock Springs, Gillette. All of those communities could ideally field a team, you know, if we can get some field space. So the field, what's the name of the field? Our field?
Yeah.
Mike Lansing Field.
Lansing Field.
Yep.
And is that owned by the club, or is it owned by someone else?
So we have the lease on everything outside of the ball field, and then the ball field is pay to play through the city. We're pretty fortunate with the level of field and stadium that we have. As many people know, the Rockies were here for a number of years in the early 2000s, and they partnered with Legion and the city and Mike Lansing, who at the time was from here, and the Rockies, and built the ballpark. And when they left, they turned it over to the Legion. Well, they turned it over to city with Legion having a lease on it. And so we've got one of the nicer ballparks in the league, with some nice amenities. But obviously it's been there for, you know, 20 plus years, and some things have been neglected and some deferred maintenance. So we're working through that, but we're happy to have the home we have.
That's right. So what's it been like working with the city, with the field?
It's challenging at times. Just, you know, again, you don't know what you don't know, right? And so really shedding light on what we do and how we do it, and you know, letting people know that we are going to live up to our obligations and do what we say we're going to do. But last year was a good prove-it year, I think. So we're really excited. We got a long-term lease on the field now, and some great leadership at the city who has a good understanding of, you know, what we're trying to do, and, you know, they share the same goals while protecting a city asset. So
that's great.
Yeah.
Are you involved in recruiting of the players, or is that something that's already been done and you acquired a team that's already set?
To an extent, we're involved. You know, really the coach does the heavy lifting there. You know, and his staff, he does all of the, I would say all of this, not the scouting, but the player evaluation and making sure that, you know, these are guys that could play at this level. But we've got a great network of coaches throughout the country that call us and want to place players here, guys that they've decided could have potential to be at the next level, right? And you know, when I say next level, that doesn't always mean professional baseball. Sometimes that's a kid just trying to get to that next school. So essentially what will happen is those coaches will identify those players. We have them fill out an online submission form, and then we send it to the coach. He does his evaluations and figures out where his needs are, and we'll do a player interview, make sure it's a guy that's going to fit the culture we're trying to foster here and really understands what we're doing, and you know, then he'll say, hey, we're going to bring this guy in. So
I noticed that not all of the players are local. I know recently, I think yesterday, you were looking for host families. So
Yep.
What percentage of the team is actually here local? Or
so it's we always go with that mindset of we want as many local guys as we can, right? And by local, I mean Wyoming guys. So we start there, but there's a small pool of guys that are really even eligible, right? And guys that can play at the level that we play at. So we start there. Obviously, we reach out to the Legion programs and say, hey, did you have a guy that maybe has moved on and went to a college program? And then if they're interested, we ask them to fill out the form and go there. And then, other than that, we've got guys from all corners of the country and even look internationally, guys from Cuba, Dominican, there's a guy from Australia. There were a couple of boys from Japan in the league last year. So yeah, when these guys come in, they're not paying to be here. So it's one of the real unique things about our league is these young men aren't paying to play. We're not charging a fee. And we rely on host families when they come in to host them. They're responsible for feeding themselves on non-game days and getting themselves to and from the field. And so our host families are asked basically to provide them with a clean space to sleep, access to a kitchen and a bathroom, and some laundry facility. And, it's a big ask, but the community steps up, and we're getting close to having everybody housed at this point, but yeah, there's still a few spots available. Yeah.
It's another way to definitely support local. And, and that's something that I think is important. With the podcast, one of my goals here is how can we support those that are supporting and pushing things in our community. And so if people want to host a family, will they reach out to you via Facebook? What's the best way to get a hold of you?
There is a form on our CasperSpudsBaseball.com website, but as always, reach out to myself. I'm easy to find. Being a realtor, I don't hide my phone number. So feel free to shoot me a text, give me a phone call. Christy as well. She coordinates and handles all of that aspect of it. But, if you just want to have a conversation, absolutely reach out to myself or Christy or fill out the form online, and one of us will get a hold of you.
Okay. Well, if anyone's watching this and they're interested, definitely reach out to Paul and Christy. Let's talk about your fans for this next season. What plans do you have? What initiatives do you have that to engage them more and be more involved this year in the baseball team?
Yeah, we have a really, really strict policy: fans first, right? Guests first, and that's they're the most important people at the ball field. Obviously players, we want to make sure they're safe, but outside of that, we want to make sure you're having fun when you're at the ball game. So when you come down to Lansing, you're going to be entertained from the time you get there until the time you leave. It's a real upbeat atmosphere. We're having a lot of fun. There's not a whole lot of crazy people like myself and Christy that go to a baseball game and sit there for 9 innings and not move, right? So there are a few of us left, but, for the most part, baseball's part of the entertainment, right? So, we want to make sure that concessions are affordable. You can bring the family and not break the bank, and that the kids are entertained and they've got a safe space to run around and have fun and, chase foul balls and interact with the mascot. And, one of the biggest things that's special about this, collegiate summer ball is access to players. Mm-hmm. So pre-game we do a clinic where you can bring the kiddos down and for about 30 minutes before the game, they can play catch with the players and get out on the field down the lines and do that stuff. And then we've got, after the game, obviously they can go down, talk to the players, get autographs, do, little meet and greets. And, we have a kids club, and a couple times throughout the year on a Sunday, Christy will get a group of the youngsters together and adults. Some adults enjoy it too, and we give stadium tour and really just kind of show them the inner workings of all of this. We take them through the ticket booth, and we take them to concessions, up to the media booth, and show them how all of that works and how our guys get prepared pre-game and run their stats and are doing that, and then over to the locker room and let them see and meet and talk to the guys a little bit. And then I'm pretty excited this year. The clubhouse down there has been kind of unused space for quite a while, and I've put together a little history of Casper Baseball Museum in there. And it's nothing large, but it's really neat and interesting. So they can see some of the Casper Rockies apparel and novelty stuff, and the Ghosts, and then the other teams that were here, as well as a small tribute to all of the guys that have played in Casper and come through the Legion program and made it on to that next level. So we've got a little tribute to them, and we've got some autographs and some stuff there. So
all right,
yeah,
and then they can stop by and pick up some merch as well.
Oh yeah,
before they leave.
yeah. Don't forget the merchandise store, and we're loaded for bear this year. We've got a lot of T-shirts, hats, hoodies, long sleeve. That was a miss last year, as we just didn't anticipate how much the community was going to embrace that. And so, we did our best last year, but I can promise you you will not be disappointed if you come check out the merch shop. We've got, logo balls, mini bats, towels, all sorts of stuff. So
they can pick it up at the field.
At the field, yep.
And are you planning on making it available online as well?
So we do have an online store up and available. Not everything is on there, but I would say 90% is on there.
Okay.
Some of that stuff you're going to have to come down to the field, and
Right.
we've got a nice little retail location located in the field. We will open that up on game days. From 10 to 4, and then obviously it's open during the game. Non-game days, it's still up in the air what hours we're going to open, but we'll make it very public, and we'll probably be open 1 to 6 or something on the non-game weekdays, so folks can stop by and get their gear. But obviously you can go to Casper Spuds or spudsbaseball.com and grab gear as well. So.
Got it. Okay.
Yep.
And I also noticed that you have a lot of businesses that are sponsoring.
We do.
What's your vision for working with local businesses and how they can partner with you and partner with the Spuds?
We're really excited about that, and like I said, last year was kind of a prove it year for everybody, right? So, it was a year of showing people that we were going to do what we said we were going to do, and try to really provide the best value and entertainment out there we could, right? So, this year our sponsorships have grown tremendously. We're excited about that, and our sponsors do get a lot of exposure by being a sponsor. Field signage, social media, website. Excuse me. All of our games are broadcast on YouTube, so they can have YouTube channels. We do a lot of other events. So, for instance, May 22nd, we're going to have a meet and greet up at the range at 5150, and the players will be there. So opportunities for the guys to get away from the field and do some appearances at local businesses and kind of drive some traffic that way. And just really make sure that we're providing value. Everybody's got a limited amount of marketing budget and a limited amount of sponsorship, because there are a lot of need out there, and so we try to do our part and make sure that we're bringing the value that we say we will. So
that's great, and that's great that you can work with local businesses as well. I know when we were out there speaking, you said there was a local brewery that you're working with as well.
Yeah. So we're pretty excited. May 22nd, the Casper Brewers are going to do a brew fest down at the field. It's something that's been held there in the past and went away in previous years, but we're pretty excited to bring that back. And at last count, I think they had 15 brewers from around the state. And so they're going to do their brew fest in the afternoon, and then, any of the attendees can stay and go to the game. We've got First Responder Night brought to you by, with Donator Alliance, Donate Life Wyoming, and they've got a specialty jersey we're going to unveil that night.
Okay.
We've got the American Cancer Society doing their Relay for Life at the field. We do a military appreciation each year and really, try to honor our veterans and active military folks. Obviously, 4th of July is a huge game for us, and there's no better place to watch the fireworks in Casper than at the ball field. We're right there at the base of the hill, and we get a game in. So have a hot dog and a cold beer and watch the game. Hopefully it's not 52 degrees like it was last year. So.
Exactly. Or snowing.
Right.
This weather this year has been crazy.
Yeah.
So how can your fans stay connected? How do they find you? We talked about Facebook, but where are you at?
So all the social medias, right? Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, spudsbaseball.com. Those are the best places to figure us out and find out what we're doing. Our schedule's on there at all times. Any upcoming events will be on there. We just try to really push out as much of that stuff as we can.
Okay. All right.
Stay connected.
The same handle everywhere, Casper Spuds?
Casper Spuds Baseball, yep.
Got it. So YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram.
Yeah. TikTok while it lasts.
Get it while it lasts. Right. No comment. So let's talk about the performance. What are your expectations for the team this year?
We really want to build on what we did last year, right? We last year was a successful year both on and off the field, and the expectation is just to build on that. We've got a great group of returners. We've had some complimentary players, some new guys coming that really understand our culture. And winning is an after product of having good culture. And we believe we have the best culture in the league. And these guys understand they're here to get their reps in and to get some work on the field, but also be a member of the community they're visiting for the summer and really embrace that. So,
all right.
Yep.
What about long-term goals for partnerships? You see things evolving for the team?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I always laugh. Somebody says, "Well, what's your long-term goal?" Don't die. That's number one. Don't die.
Don't die.
But no. The team is here to stay, and we're well aware of the history of some of these teams in Casper, in all the sports, and it's not easy to survive. So, but we are here to stay. We're going to do that through fulfilling our engagements and doing what we say we're going to do, and our love for baseball and being that community asset that we want to be. So
that's great.
The league is growing and looking to grow. We added 2 teams this year. That should have stadiums to play in next year, but they're going to play 18 games this year on the road, and we'd love to see, like I mentioned earlier, growth inside of Wyoming. So we're pretty excited. The Legion AA tournament is in the end of July, and we really want to showcase what we do for those coaches and those organizations, so they can see like, hey, maybe this does work. So.
Well, I think that's great. I think that partnership is definitely the key point. I think for any sustainable business, even if it's a baseball team, it's still a business. You have to look at it financially as well. But partnerships with the fans, but partnership with local businesses, partnerships with possibly other teams. I think that's the key for long-term sustainable success.
Absolutely, yeah. It takes a village, right? So it's number one, it takes fans in the stands during games, but it goes beyond that, right? With the host family thing, the sponsors, the local business sponsors, and getting, for us, like I said, one of our other big things is getting players from around the state here, right? And so, yeah, it takes all of that to keep this thing running.
Absolutely. So. And maybe we'll find the next Babe Ruth. Who knows?
Hopefully, right?
Well, obviously, they start someplace.
Yeah, they all come from somewhere, right?
Absolutely.
Why not Wyoming?
Exactly. Why not Wyoming? What is your message to Casper? If you could say one thing to the Casper community about the Spuds, what would you like them to know about what you're doing this year and your plans for the next few years?
Biggest thing is that guest first philosophy, right? You come to the ballpark, we're going to make sure you're taken care of in every aspect. And we're here, we're from Casper. This is our home, and we love it dearly. Maybe not winter, but summer. And so this is where I was born and raised. This is where we're fortunate enough to raise our children, and we're going to do right by the town, and we're going to do our best to put a competitive team on the field. But more importantly, we're going to make sure these guys are good members of the community, and are doing the right things when they're off the baseball field as well. So.
Well, that's wonderful.
Yeah.
Definitely, if anyone wants to help the Casper Spuds, if you want to host any of the team players, reach out to Paul. Paul, thank you for joining us today. Thanks for being a part of this podcast. Don't forget to like and subscribe and share this podcast. I think what Paul's doing for the Spuds and for Casper, that message needs to be heard. So thank you again.
All right. Yeah, I appreciate you. Thank you.
Thank you.